Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Grange City Council meeting, July 5th. Glad to see everyone here tonight. Hope the air conditioner keeps working. Just on the news, it was 110 degrees in the Grange, Kentucky. Did it feel like 110 degrees today? You guys work outside? Yeah. I know he probably worked inside all day long, so he gets pretty bad. So Todd on the front row, been at the lake all afternoon. But certainly glad to see each of you here. We have a nice agenda for this evening. Again, we're talking about a number of different subject matter. Should get out fairly early tonight. Glad to see Andrea back. Andrea's been a little under the weather. Glad to see Andrea. Glad to see everybody else. If you would, if you have a cell phone on you, please try to turn it off or turn it down quiet or put it on vibrate. So if in fact you get a call, you're welcome to take your call and step out. Once again, glad to see each of you. And as always, we always stand at this time for our meeting or begin to say our pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would, Stephanie Cooper, our city clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jason.
Here.
Trey.
Here.
Leslie. Here. Joe.
Here.
Brother. Debbie. Here. Bill.
Here.
Here.
The roll being called, we have a full unanimous quorum, so I'd like to now call the meeting to order. We'll tell the council that I'll give credit to Heather Woodcox and Stephanie Cooper helped her today, but right back there above your head, right there, there's a camera right there, this black camera there, and we've been watching across the hallway, so it's a very much nicer view of the full city council. Comes through really well, and also there's been a coax cable ran from the front to the back with these speaker systems, Bluetoothing to a speaker back there, which now hopefully the audience can hear us better and everything, and the acoustics will sound much better in here tonight. So that's through the efforts today of Heather Woodcox. Did you help, Stephanie?
I do help.
Did you hold the ladder?
I just don't.
Okay, you held the ladder. Okay, you held the ladder, right? That's all you're in there doing. You were helping out in this. Well, no. I think it has one policeman that has a student and utility commission. Okay, so we have our roll call vote. You have an agenda in front of you. If there's any corrections or changes that any council person would like to make to the agenda that sent home to you as of last Friday of last week for you to review this packet for tonight's meeting. Is everyone okay with the agenda? If you are, and there's no additions or corrections, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Motion made by Leslie Wright. There be a second. Second by Elsie Carter. Any discussion on the motion? None, all those in favor of the motion, let me know and say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, also in your package, you have your minutes from our June 6, 2022 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections or any issues that any council person would wish to place into those minutes before they're recorded and put into the record? Give you a chance to look at those, see perhaps if there's something there that catches your eye that you thought was a mistake or miscue, and we can get it corrected and approve tonight.
I'll make the motion with the minutes written for June 6th.
Motion made by Debbie Pollard.
Second.
Second, Joe Davenport. Any further discussion on the motion on the table? If not, all in favor of the motion, let me know, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 8-0. All right, you also have your payables in your packet, long list of payables for the month of June. Any payable that might stand out to any one person, and perhaps try to get an answer for you, and see all the payables are suitable to the city council.
No, it's the first, I don't. I know, y'all looking at me. No questions for me, very clear, very concise.
Everyone had a chance to look at it? No further discussion about looking at them? Who'd like a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Leslie Wright. Second by Andrew Price. Any further discussion on the motion? Not all in favor of the motion, let me know, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, also you have all your bank accounts that we have presently at different banks within the city. So if anyone have any questions or concerns and/or on the City of Grange financial report, either one of those documents, you're welcome to ask a question about it, see perhaps if anything there is a concern to any city council member. I will tell you in the super now account, I was doing some numbers today, and approximately $1,051,000 of that super now account is still part of the ARPA money in that category. That figure is not including the new round that we just received of our latest round. That came in right at the end of late June, so that will go in next month's report. So basically what we have still remaining in that first round is about $1,051,000. That helps clear that up on that account balance.
I did have one question,
Yes, ma'am.
normally on the tourism account, we have something in there as far as hotel tax. I was just wondering, did the hotels not pay that, or?
There's a deposit that's going to go in July,
Okay,
so it'll be on the next.
They typically get their check and it just sends, Stephanie's got it ready to be picked up, okay?
I'm sure it's working.
I think, last month, it was 13,000, I believe, Stephanie. It's been running pretty decent amount per month. Also look at your City of Grange financial report. That's basically the percentages of our actual year end and what we budgeted to begin with, where we stand, approximately at the end of the fiscal year. So, now as of July 1st, we're rolling into a new fiscal year, and we will begin again as to the budget that you all approved in June for the 2022-23 fiscal year budget cycle. So if anyone has any question on either of those documents, please, I know they're pretty, you see them every month, but as you can tell, city, with all we're doing, the city's in really good financial shape, so got a lot of things to be thankful for on what kind of standing our city's in. If everyone's had a chance to look, I'll always be ready to entertain a motion to approve those two documents as a financial.
Motion approved, Mayor.
Motion made by Joe Davenport, with the second by Debbie Pollard. Any further discussion on the motion? Not all in favor of the motion, let me know, say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, tonight, item 7, we might be out here about 8:15 tonight. We might be out at 8:15. I looked at these minutes. Did you all recognize on your minutes what time we adjourned last month? You see that on your minutes? Who knows what time we adjourned? I think 11:20. That's 11:20. Okay, item 7 is always public comment, well, not always that particular item, but is an opportunity for anyone wishing to come forward. Please state your name, your residence, where you live, and perhaps you can speak to the council on anything that you wish to do so. We just ask you not to be too critical of us or the city or anything in particular, but you're pretty much the open mic. So who would like to come first and give us your name and where you live and tell us what's on your mind tonight? Yes, sir, come forward.
Hello, everybody. Lee Crawford, my name is.
Is please, mic on, Stephen, or come on, make sure everybody can hear Lee. Go ahead, Lee. Try to speak into the microphone, so.
Yeah, I've been here in Grange for 19 years, and I've tried to do community work. You can be sitting, you see me sit up on the corner here, I'm doing more than swapping and trading. I'm learning about stuff. You know, most of it is good, but I've always wanted to put together something. I tried to get a basketball tournament 10 years ago, but it didn't work out for the gym. But things have changed, and I appreciate the mayor, what y'all doing. Of course, I'm not in there, but I'm observing. But I teach cornhole. I just, all my life, I usually just walk into something and all my life and something to do with distance. I guess that's what God gave me is that talent. So I've got, I used to travel and I wrote books on cornhole, how to win. And it just come up here that these kids need a lot of attention. I think a lot of problems we're having on these shootings now is because we've all been teenagers, and when you get to be 7 to 14, 15 years old, and your parents is either successful or they're not doing well, it's hard to cope with that if you don't have mentors. And I've been very fortunate. I've had aunts and I've had principals and had Sunday school teachers, and it's helped me all my life. Because my mother took me to church just about every Sunday. And of course, they was religious people out of the mountains, and we started out scratch, but what we do have, and it's me, what I got, money came back. Cause God gave me this, and of course, my health in the last 30 years has went down. But I want to present this to, I'm looking for a home site now for this cornhole pitch. It's a lot of people, we've had tournament cheer over the years and got in, and the leaders shot in, but this, what I got, I break it down to math and science, where kids can take it home, their parents can get involved, and I teach them how to use math and science in it. I use different feet. The 27 feet is what the grown-ups use, but there's a lot of people on the TV that I've played against, 10, 12 years ago. But it's something unique I got here. I'm looking for a home site. We can start out small, and this this park that is built is ideal for something small. It's got to be inside or air conditioned. It can be a gym, a school, anything. And it could be a class. I can teach 5, I can teach 1, I can teach 20. No more than that. It's like going to school, you want a small class. And 24, 7 days a week, every day, it doesn't matter. I don't care when anybody calls me. We can set up things, and I didn't break all of it down here. That's when I want to meet with the council and the mayor to see what, it can be small or it can be big. I want to go over different counties, but I'd like for this to be my home base because you got all the facilities you need. You can tell y'all done a good job. But I'd like to take a look at it. Like I said, it ain't broke down because I can't get everything on paper. you know, what we want to do is teach these, I got 10 code words that anything I do like bowling or cornhole or anything about young kids, I got codes that I give them like words, you know, what's excellence and stuff like enthusiasm. And I give them a project besides, I let them take it home and get up in the library or dictionary and see what them words mean. Because especially the free will, I'm a free will person all my life. That's what I go on, any human being. And I got a code that'll work with any company. I started my own business, work 40, 50 people a day. And I see them every once in a while, that's been 40, 50 years ago. And so we made more money with you in 7 weeks, we did working in Shelbyville all year. And I taught some of the kids stuff, I always have it. But we got a great opportunity here. If somebody wants to talk to me, like I say, I can do it anywhere, but I'm not gonna do it out in this 100-degree weather, because I had a stint put in a year and a half ago. I'm a second heart attack that I'm trying to watch what I'm doing. But I love to be, I'm a mentor for a lot of people. I think I'm the only person in town runs credit. I might not have a dollar, but you know, if I got something and you can use it, I'm the old school. I mean, you know, what you give, you get back, one way or another. So I just like to go take a look at this, and don't be bashful, ask me any question, because if I know, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll figure it out.
Well, we can help work with you, Lee, you know, somehow. You need to get with Stephen Hall, with our parks director. You can try it, you know, work with Stephen if you want to have a cornhole opportunity on Wednesday nights at 5 o'clock somewhere, and then
Yeah.
just see if anybody shows up, you know.
Yeah, well, it's gotta be advertising from the people. This thing has gotta be like we used to teach kids. It's gotta be a community thing. Everybody's gotta be in on it. It can't be like a Congress, half and half, 60-40. It's gotta be, we gotta make it work, and it will work. It can't lose, I mean, you can't, it'll
Wayne,
win.
did you realize that there's cornhole at
Wash Park,
Wash Park on Fourth Street?
who plays?
I have no anybody can play.
Well, yeah, you can set a cornhole board
They're
anywhere,
there all the
but
time.
you gotta understand, are they teaching skill?
Well, I think what Debbie's suggesting is we have permanent cornhole boards there. That could be where Stephen and you can
Yeah.
have them try to advertise
Good
something,
idea.
big stuff there. See perhaps who shows up, see if any kids would want to come and try to learn your skills that you say you have to put
The
together.
parents, of course, gotta okay it, of course, you gotta have a facility that they do. And I think, we could have 4 big tournaments. I'm in tourism too. I've done a lot of tourism in this town, not be bragging. I've had people come out of Lexington, Cincinnati, just to see what I don't have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you talk to somebody, you don't tell them what you might motivate. But, yeah,
Just touch base with Stephen. He came in the other day to talk about this, and I said, well, we'll work with you, you know, if there's anything that we could entice kids to come out, trying to learn how to play the game, if that's, you say that's what it takes.
sure.
I think there's a lot of geometry in cornhole, because every time I throw it, it's over the board. It should come back down eventually, but, that,
John, I got a code,
that and gravity, okay, that's my two needs, gravity
I know.
and geometry.
but I got a code for you.
What's my code?
I want you to teach me what I already know. And once you get that done, you got it on anything.
All right, you give it to Steve, okay?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Lee, for trying to help out.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else want to speak during the public comment time tonight? If not, we'll keep moving right along. Item 8 is the Grange Street, Main Street report, Teresa Bowling. I don't think Teresa, anyone's from Main Street tonight. Any council persons want to comment anything about Main Street in general?
They're all willing to pay for it.
paintbrushes, okay. Talking about in alley.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, any person have any comments, anything about Main Street?
Comment?
So,
I think we made a huge investment in Main Street. They opened up on Friday night and had activities, thanks to people in this room and Stephen, for Saturday with fireworks show. And I think that that's going to be a very large draw for the Main Street. And people, not only in the Grange, but in Oldham County and some of the surrounding counties will come up here and enjoy what we just opened.
it's a great comment. Thank you, Trey, for that. I agree totally with what you just said. Go ahead, Andrea.
I can also speak to that from the farmer's market side of things. I've been a member and or vendor there for 17 years this year, where I started my business. And in 17 years, I've never seen the kind of crowds that we have in our Grange farmer's market. It's considered one of the best in the state, one of the best regionally. Russ Morris does a great job. We've got 50 vendors now. It's very, very full, crowded in that pavilion. I know myself and many of the other vendors are very grateful to this group of people to have that space, to not have to lug out tents. And, some of the people I set up with are not able to do that very easily. So Russ ends up setting up their tents. It's just really nice to have that space. And it was well attended, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes more. So.
How do you think the traffic flow maneuver through the pavilion versus Courthouse Square?
It was definitely crowded. That's the feedback that I got was it seemed full. My observation was that it felt like, if you've ever been to Charleston, South Carolina, it felt like one of those outdoor markets like they have in the middle of the city. For a vendor, the energy of this space was really good. I sold out of everything, which is really what I want to be doing. And I know a lot of other vendors were also selling out of everything. Because the way it's set up, you really have to walk by every booth. If you have someone walking by every booth, you're more likely to sell what you've got. So, some people said, well, can we set up more booths outside? And I'm sure that's an option if you want to bring in things. But from my end, I thought it was great. So, and it was also the first week. I'm sure we can do things to make it a little bit easier. It is a little more challenging for dogs there now. I will say that. People like to bring a dog to our market, and I heard a lot more barking and growling than usual.
From the people or the dog?
This circumstance was the dog. But you never know in the future, if that market grows, we might even move out onto the courthouse square and or into the park elsewhere. So I think it's a good start. And I think from what I heard, it was very happy.
Well, I too, I didn't know how the flow was in terms of, I thought maybe if it got too tight, just have people move outside if they're on choosing. Or they want to get out where there's more movement in the building.
Well, I do think people have the option. The booths now, they used to be 10 by 10 foot space, now it's 8 foot space. And you are right there, kind of next to everybody. For my own booth, we had experimented with different setup in advance. So we went vertical with our booth rather than spread everything out. People seem to like it just as much. So people did ask, could we move outside of the actual under the roof area into where the shades come down? And I'm sure that would be an option potentially if it wasn't for rain that day and move the booths back a little bit. But yeah, people do have the option, I think, to set up outside with their anticipation.
All right, thank you very much, Andrea. Anyone else on anything about Main Street? And also talk about Grange tourism at the same time. Don Sable's not here, does not look right. So anyone want to speak to the tourism factor?
least a couple, 3 times a week, either in my shop or at the farmer's market, people say, you know, we can't get the shows, which is great. That's what the desired effect was. I believe I saw, and I wasn't at this meeting, but a proposal from tourism that is going to be putting speakers and music up and down Main Street and into the pavilion where the park is, but I don't know any more than that. I just got an email from that meeting, and that's what I.
Okay. I think that's pretty much the case. We understand it as well. If we spend the next, some money on, Bluetooth speakers, sound systems, Corey here. We're back there. Yeah, Corey and Tom Clemens, Noel and, John Lott with, Holiday Inn Express. They, where'd y'all visit Corey Somerset? Looked at their systems. That's sort of what we're possibly doing here somewhat, possibly if and when. It's all wireless. So,
Andrew, do you know if the people with the charging stations for the automobiles, they have the opportunity to cross stores?
I don't know about that personally. I didn't know what route that was going through, but I did see
That's
something
where they,
about.
that's where they were sent.
All right. Well, then I will ask them about that.
okay, I agree totally. Once again with Andrew, I think, whatever reason, I believe that there is certainly a surge in folks coming through this town for various reasons. You know, I see them all the time, speak to them all the time, and they're just coming here to either stay in the Airbnbs in our downtown or throughout. They love coming, see the trains, believe it or not, they love the trains. They just love this town. It's just unbelievable what people say about this place. I mean, they just think, they're just sorry they haven't gotten here sooner. So that's what they tell me, right? So, evidently, that's what they're believing and thinking. Okay, as our tourism report, Grange Utilities, item 10 is Scott Treach. So, Scott, please come forward. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing well.
How was everything in Cancun?
It was hot. Not actually, it was actually better than it was here, about 87 and no humidity.
Cooler in Cancun, huh?
Yeah,
Okay, well,
I had to come back though.
maybe go back tomorrow, so you can.
Yeah, well, I asked my wife this morning when I got up, I said, do I have to go to work today? And she said, yes, so I came. So, you all should have got my report, financial report. I'll be happy to answer any questions on that. I'll run through our updates real quick. So our North Sewer project was awarded to Converse Construction for $1,511,682. That they got material ordered, looking like it's going to be first part of August before the material gets here. So that project should get underway sometime in August. Glen Eagles project, we're still awaiting materials for that. It's got a longer lead time than the 15-inch PVC. The other project 24. For some reason 24 was more readily available. So it's probably going to be sometime in late August or maybe even September before that project gets underway. Fort Pickens control valve and the interconnect with Oldham County, we're in design on that, so that project should be going to Division Water in the next couple of months for approval, and then we'll move forward with those interconnected. We'll improve our system pressures around, but they've got pretty good pressures where we're going to be connected with them, so it should improve the quality of what we're providing. One thing I will say, I drove through town, I don't know, 5 or 6 times today, and I went by the splash park every time, and I could just see every time, every system you all put in that was available for water had water coming out of it, which to a guy like me is like money, you know, it's just flowing out of the ground. So it looks really good. It looks like it's being utilized by a lot of people, so I think it's a very good issue.
Well, you know, we've been known as the kindest capital, kindest heart, so I hope you and Roy Horton have a kind heart when it comes to our building.
Yeah.
So we're looking for kindness.
We have discussed that, we're getting special rate.
I bet we are.
But, that's pretty much our updates. I'll get that to my guys today. They were out, it's hot. They pulled pumps at, South today. Took quite a while. There was a lot of, I drove by there and stopped for a few minutes and there was a lot of sweat pouring out. So, I do want to say thanks to them for working in this heat and staying with it and doing the job that they do because, without them, we wouldn't be able to keep up with what we have going on.
So once again, you said you stopped at the water park, how many times a day, and you just started counting money?
I just drove by.
Yeah, you said something about money.
Yeah, because the water coming out of the ground just looks good to me.
Thank goodness it's not going into your sewer system,
Yeah.
it's going into detention,
Yes.
because,
That
that would have been another cost,
Right.
so at least it's going down into detention basin. Okay, does anyone have any comments or questions about Scott's report tonight? I was at the fireworks, Saturday night, and Greg T was sitting next car over, and when he got over, I asked Greg, I said, hey, Greg, really nice fireworks tonight, we probably need a sponsor for next year, how about we Grange Utilities? He said, you got to talk to Roy Horton about that. So anyway.
Hey, I'm open.
So anyway, okay, we have a good report here. Does anyone have any questions on the $1,511,000 pump station, North Pump Station? What's that actual work include?
So that's for the gravity sewer to go from, where we came through the splash park earlier. We're gonna pick up at the bottom there and go all the way down to behind the post office.
Okay,
So it's a 24-inch gravity sewer.
when's that project to start?
Material should be here by August, so it should be starting.
Okay, Christy Weaver with her skateboard park company, she was wondering if that's gonna pose a problem. That shouldn't, should
We'll
it?
be going down Third.
Yeah, we should be west of Third, sure.
Yeah, we'll be in the street, edge of the street, and then down by the apartments and on the property lines down to Gator.
So y'all should, it wouldn't be a problem. Let's start.
Shouldn't be, I mean, we may be in construction and going through that area, but I think we can all be out in each other's place.
All right, anyone have anything further for Scott? If not, you always get approval through this financial report, so motion made by Elsie Carter, is there a second? By Leslie Wright, any further discussion on the motion? If not, then vote to the motion, let me know, say aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you, Scott, I appreciate it. All right, tonight, item 11, it's a resolution 3-2022. You have the material in your packet. You have a resolution provided for a contract extension for collection and disposal of garbage, trash, and debris in the city of Grange. This particular item was given to the utility committee's attention a week or two ago.
June 27th.
So- So I said, just want to let Joe take it and go with it. And let's,
I just want to let everybody know that we did meet on it, Monday, 27th with Todd. We had a real good discussion and talked about other cities and their prices and, Todd did send out, I think there's 4 cities, I don't know if y'all want to email or not.
Yeah.
Cities that he came up with, and their rates and their population, so, just, that we discussed a lot in the meeting, and so that's about all I got to say about it, other than I think it's a great opportunity to city to stay with Republic, and I'm real happy with the prices that you got.
Beach, would you like to, or Debbie, you were.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, Joe, we talked about, the rate and stuff, and we, at Summit, we also talked with other cities. A lot smaller population than us. There's no way.
Our friend, Mayor from Kansas City, Wayne, they actually doubled his rate. I don't know what he pays now.
I don't even know how to make money.
We conversation. Public input.
So basically, the agreement to extend the contract, which is franchise actually, is for another 3 years. The first year from, since the rate stayed same up to this point. So beginning September 1st, the sewer, I'm sorry, the collection rate, garbage collection rates from 51 cents per customer to,
Per month, 51 cents.
at the current rate of 11.63. And then for the next years, from September of 2023 for the next year, it'll go up. What we've always done in the past, very fast, 3% increase per year from the following 2 years. And they agreed that they do have recycling pickup, which has always, I guess, been an option, but we need to promote that. I think recycling is another $6.25 a month per pickup. So that's the residential rate for the next 3 years. And the commercial rate, similarly, there's a one-time rate adjustment of 9 cents per 3 over the current 9 cents per yard over the current rate of $3.06 from September till next August. And then after that, it's 3%. So that's those are the changes.
So actually go from 3.06 with 9 cents, $3.12 per cubic yard between September 1st, and the 2 years thereafter, get 3% automatic increase for each of those 2 following years. Todd is with Republic tonight. I know he was at the meeting. The committee makeup was Joe, Andrea, and Debbie. Andrea not feeling well, not making the meeting. But I believe all in all, I was at the meeting, and I think that the city position is with the amount of pickups they have annually, daily, weekly, monthly, and what we feel that Republic does to the city over and above even what their contract calls for. We just felt that their service, as far as we can tell here at City Hall, is about as good as it can be based on the complaints we were receiving in a year's time, which are very, very minimal. And the fact of the matter is, if we were to receive a complaint, Todd or anybody with the public would be on top of it instantly and trying to work with the customer individually to make sure that complaint is handled properly. As far as the, city cleanup day, Todd, they come out, they help us themselves. They, I guess, as many dumpsters as Stephanie went for needs on site at the utility commission, they'll bring those at no cost, no charge. They've offered to pick up Springs Park, once again, no cost, no charge. They pick up the cans on Main Street once a week, no charge. And just one thing after another, we felt like with the amount of pickups and households they have, I think the households got 3,200 a month, households, 3,200. And yes, we get a few complaints along the way, but the fact of the matter is, whether it's Todd or David Stucker or Leonard Petrie, who's an old county guy with Grange guy who drives for them, they usually circle back and try to get that. Regretfully, sorry they missed the alley or missed the pickup that day, and typically get back either the same day or the day thereafter. So I think that was the basis that the committee used to try to say, yes, we could go out there and see what happens, but as we as we attended the Kentucky League of Cities meeting 2 weeks ago, some of us were up there, we heard what other cities were paying, and they're in the $19, $20, $21. But this 50-cent increase, it'll go to $12, $14 per month. I mean, is y'all's water that cheap? $12, $14 a month? You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, they'll take all the garbage, you can pretty much throw it in 2 cans, and then they also continue to offer the pickup of the large items, and or you can bring it to the landfill by producing either a city residency card, a tax bill, and drop it off there for nothing. They own the landfill here at Valley View. I think the closest landfill that might be up Madison or down maybe on Allo Loop. So it makes it convenient for our citizens to drop things at Valley View as well. So that's pretty much it. But certainly open to the council for your discussion of the resolution before you.
Yes, I agree that you did a fantastic job. I just had, the question that I had was about the recycling, actually. I've always just paid like one flat fee per year, and like I just paid it in March, and this fee now pays $25. I'm not paying it monthly, but for those people who have just paid it, will that monthly charge and take effect, I'm hoping 12 months after?
We're gonna keep things, the recycling has never been in the contract, we just statutory contract to protect the pricing. This time, because with Grange, it's typically, the recycling's always been open market. We've always kept the price, pretty much where it's at, where like in other open markets, and that's taking significant increases. So we're gonna do the same way we're doing it, we're gonna bill you annually, because it's gonna be billed to the resident. Okay.
Also, one other note that I picked up, the residents in Oakland County, they're on their service in Oakland County, they charge $16.87 a month, whereas we're going to $12.14 for no whole another year.
No, my water is through Oldham County and not the city of Grange.
Got it?
Oldham County residents pay.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking, I don't want the water, mine all comes on my bill.
I have a few questions there. What's that, one, can we actually get to the one with the Leslie said, can we actually add that language to paragraph 2 that the recycling will be billed annually to the resident? So people have already paid this year for every week, it might be another $6 every month. And then I have a few questions. When was the last one? Was it 3 years ago?
December 18th, right before I came into office, in December of 18, December 18th was.
Is it set to expire, current contracts? What would have been this year?
Yes, December this past year. However, the reason that did not happen is, we had a discrepancy of households being picked up. We've been trying our best to get those books to work and try to figure out where those households are. Grange Utilities does a certain part of the billing. Oldham County Water has a small section of the Grange and their water service district. So what Todd, Stephanie Cooper, and Heather Woodcox have been doing for 5 months is actually trying to figure out where these missing households were. Todd had some answers to that. Some were getting a bill or not getting a bill, and they moved out, and they're still getting garbage service. But Grange Utilities bills on how many folks evidently that they feel they got water going to times a number, and they send us a check. My question was, on our income side, that we send Republic a little, somewhat more, where was that difference at? We actually narrowed it down to about $150, $175 a month.
Is the recycling still going to be twice per month, the same days?
Yes.
And the garbage still once a week, same day? Yes. And what is the current rate before this contract for recycling?
For us, it's still 7645.
So
We're
starting,
not changing it until next September 1.
so the payment that was made for
22 to 75 a year. Which is 625, I believe so. That might
No,
be
that's 65.
65, there you go. So 625 times 12 is 75, so we want $10. We can change that. Change it back to where it's at now. If you're paying 65, we're not gonna change it.
I mean, unless I was brand new, I made this something.
And it could have been when you got billed too.
Yeah.
Did you start it this year?
No.
No, I'll take a look at it.
Todd, if we also, like, say, one recycling,
Mhm.
don't we have to call for a public?
Yes,
It just
yes.
doesn't come by habit,
Right.
you gotta call.
Yes, it was billed individually.
Right.
So Todd, you said that recycling is still gonna be 65 a year then for the following year?
Yes, and where it's currently at, it will take it forward.
So if it's 65, then it's the
That's not big.
542 approximately.
I'll confirm that, and we'll make the changes whenever it's necessary,
All right,
along with the,
build annually language.
correct,
Okay.
all right.
And then,
Yes, you did it.
yeah.
Yes.
And how much of this percentage increase is due to gas prices right now?
Well, I would say,
If you get up to,
yeah, I would say at least 1.5%, 1.2 to 1.5% of the increase is due to the fuel.
Okay, and then my last question is on the fire item. Can you just, or for the record, to explain that program, so we're all on the same page?
Sure.
It works.
We really like for people to call it in, schedule it, and the reason for that is, number one, there's guidelines. Just with the way the changes in the environment, things such as mattresses or upholstered furniture need to be wrapped in plastic just for protection of our guys. So we like to get the guidelines out, and then some things when you know how big it is, because if it's king size mattress, the regular truck cannot pick it up, they have to send us a truck for it.
So what do you call it? How's that work? When's the pickup? It's any time of the month or?
No, we do it on your regular scheduled day. So if your pickup is on Tuesday, we'll pick up the bulk item on Tuesday as well. We just need a call within 24 business hours. So we can get
That's
scheduled.
any, you do it 4 times a month?
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you.
anyone else? Anyone else, have a question, for Todd or anyone at this time?
I had a question about the decorative garbage containers. So these are the cardboard, containers, correct? Or is it something else?
When we put out like city day and stuff like that, yeah, so the cardboard event boxes.
Okay. And I'll probably do this offline, won't text right now. So if it's full, do we need to dispose of it in the dumpster, or can we leave it where it's at and then somebody from the public will pick it up?
So you have some event boxes there now, is that what you're saying?
Just from this past weekend, so we had some full, and we weren't totally sure, so we need to throw them in the dumpster anyway.
I think I know a guy who probably called Big Stuff here and had them come get them. Or something.
Okay.
Just send me an email, Terry, and I'll take care of it.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? Everyone feel comfortable with this 3-year, contractual agreement? For us who attended the Kentucky League of Cities function a couple weeks ago, we heard a lot of cities talking about this particular issue and what their rates were. And further, under Kentucky law, gives franchisees like 20 years of durable time to try to help pay for their inventory, help pay for their carts that they put into our city. So there is certain allowabilities to allow us to continue these services as long as we feel they're in fair numbers and things like that, up to 20 years under a contractual agreement. So I think this contract, public began, and who did that begin with, what mayor? Elsie?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So, we're probably about to meet our 20 years before it actually bid out again, but with these kind of increases of 51 cents for a whole next year based on probably where fuel prices and labor, you name it, are, I don't see probably how they charge extra 50 cents a month.
Well, that's a big difference.
Because I know you make a lot of money, but, but anyway.
God bless.
So anyway, so does everyone, if everyone's okay with this, resolution 3-2022, Beach, do you need to say anything further about it from a legal standpoint?
No, but we'll do that at that correction that Jason required or asked for on to be
In the monthly recycling charge consistent with whatever it is.
And then I just, when I get to the computer, I can reach out and confirm that. Send it.
Okay, is everyone okay? Who made the motion to approve the resolution? Motion made by Joe Davenport, second by Debbie Pollard. Any further discussion on the motion for the adoption of the resolution? If not, all those in favor of the motion, let me know, saying aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Okay, let's keep it.
Vacation.
Let's go ahead and, go to item 12, introduction of first reading of ordinance amending 32.21 reference to our meetings and our time and our place. Mr. Craig Mile, this is first reading, so go ahead and just brief these. Good night, Todd. Brief council on what that actually is referring to.
This is just I'll read it summary. It's ordinance number 9, series 2022. Ordinance beginning in section 32.21 of the meetings. In essence, this is just to update our existing meeting ordinance, which has not only the monthly city council meeting, but it also has about 5 or 6 of the committees that, some of which are called something else now and no longer exist. So, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make sure that the meetings are correctly published at this location. That previously been published in the fiscal court. And the purpose of doing that is once it's regularly, you have regular meetings at regularly noticed times, then it's not so important to have the advertising. The other thing is the ordinance committees are going to be assigned by the mayor, whoever the mayor is, as opposed to them being fixed as they were in the past. Some of those committees no longer serve the purpose. And there was need for more committees. And so this mayor sort of has a thing for committees. And so the committees will be published on the internet website, typically and online. So that's where the ordinance or statute created a couple of years ago that allows publication, advertising, so we'll rely on that as well. So that's what this is. We're amending 32.1.
Okay, and we'll have a public hearing and a second reading on that on August the 1st. I think that's the next meeting, I guess it's August 1. Okay, all right, let's move on to a first reading.
Before we do that, can I ask one thing?
Yes, sir.
We could look at, people have an opinion on this, but on that last ordinance, we could talk about it next month. We could put something at the end of the first paragraph, just stating all regular and special meetings will be streamlined on Facebook, that we talked about a few months ago. If we can start doing that next month and have it actually in the ordinance that we. I think that's a problem.
Can we take that up in the ordinance? Make a recommendation.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, that'll be next Monday, actually, the 11th. So we'll talk about it.
The only problem I would have with that is that what if our equipment breaks down, and we can't publish it, or we can't have it on Facebook? How do we deal with that?
Maybe it's, something language like we talked about, as long as the equipment is functioning properly or something.
Well, got a rough meeting coming out tonight, so Jason would be pull the tube on that TV for me. You know, so anyway, I see what Bill's saying, and I see what you're saying. I don't have a problem with it at all. I just want to make sure that terminology, Facebook, I know we upload them to the next day, YouTube, or wherever they get to, just as long as Jason's terminology on Facebook is correct, I'm okay with putting it there, as long as legal counsel says,
I guess what I'm saying, we did this during the COVID period where it actually streamlined, so the people that couldn't show up, and there are still people that can't show up, or that want to show up, that want to see what's going on, and ask questions. I just want to give as many people the opportunity to hear what's going on, as transparent as we can. We can discuss it on Monday.
one thing we did learn is when we're zooming and you're not in present form here, you're zooming in, you cannot disguise and put up a fake picture of yourself. You can't just have a picture that you use every time. You have to be seen, you have to be talking, you have to be comprehending, and you, I'm not sure if you need to be voting. There's a lot of, about a 3-hour session on this at our last meeting about, A, you gotta be seen, number one. 2, you gotta be breathing, number 2. And 3, I'm not sure, I think you can vote. You can vote if the meeting has been advertised, it's gonna be a partial hybrid meeting with live participants and also a few on Zoom, but they cannot have a picture up there of themselves that's just a stale picture. Yes, Andrew.
Quick question on that. So last month, I was actually in the hospital, hooked up to IVs.
Right.
Looked afraid, but I wanted to be at the meeting and I wanted to go to our budget meeting, it was important. So should I have put the video on?
Yes. Yes, you had to, you had to.
I also, so we can see.
No matter how many IVs you had hanging out, you had to
I
hook up.
also.
Duly noted.
Right, and we heard that from our staff attorney, DLC.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep moving. Item 13, introduction of ordinance 10-2022, the first reading. This is the first reading of ordinance revising the zoning map for the city of Grange. Amy Alvey, presently assistant planning director, soon to be county clerk, is with us tonight. So Amy, why don't you come up here and just give us an overview of our first reading of this particular ordinance and tell us what has happened and what is to happen in the next month or so.
Okay, so before you is ordinance revising the zoning map for the city of Grange. This is ordinance number 10-2022. The property is located on Commerce Parkway. They are looking to rezone a portion of the property, 3.84 acres. The entire site is 15.3. The remaining portion of the property is already zoned to R4, and they're wanting to rezone the 3.84 acres to R4. So this is just your first reading, and I provided your packets, excuse me, in advance. So you have a staff report, neighborhood meeting, traffic impact study, technical review committee comments, school capacity forms. The planning commission meetings from the May 24th meeting are included in there. There was one letter of opposition that was received, and then you should also have the development plan. So I wanted to get that to you in advance of the meeting, so you have an opportunity to review it prior to the second reading and public hearing. That's it.
Okay,
The first reading.
any, we're not going to get any discussion whatsoever, but any little small minor clarifications for Amy at this time? I'll look at it.
I just have one quick question. That was
Speak up a little bit.
the class here 20, is that consistent with the other class? I know there's one on Brownsville Road, I'm not sure if that's connected. But are there any other flats, if you will, in this area?
It's a different developer,
It's not the same at all,
correct?
anywhere in the world?
It's just the name.
There were maybe there's some questions at the ordinance meeting. I can't remember the questions, so I think that's the area. You also have a question, anybody, about this, that we discussed? Basic question.
Could you, I'll ask one small one. Can you give us a little bit of history of 3.84 acres? That's a part of the cultural development project. What's the history of that?
Okay, sure. So this was originally, if you have your staff report with you, if you look under site history on the property in 2006, the Planning Commission in the city of LaGrange granted approval of zoning map amendment. It was going to be part of Artisan Fields. That plan consisted of 52 single-family homes and 35 condominiums, as well as a commercial component. So variances were also granted to reduce front and side yard setbacks for the single-family portion of the development, and that they changed the zoning from R2 to R2A, R4, and C1. That project never moved forward. So another developer came in July of 2010. It was actually Citizens of Pump Bank, and they asked for a revised preliminary subdivision plan, and they changed the plan to 71 single-family lots, again, to be known as Artisan Fields, and they were granted those same variances for the setbacks. That project also never moved forward, so the thing expired. So again, it's just the 3.4 acres, and in your package, you'll be able to see there's a zoning map in there as well that shows just the one specific peninsula line, I guess you would say, that goes up behind the R2 area on your west. That is the property that's owned by Oldham County Board of Education. So that is the only area that is the subject of the rezoning. The C1 is owned by a different developer, and that's not subject to this application.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry. So we gotta be careful how far we go, but, just don't tread in because they're probably, the developer probably represented by an attorney.
They are.
And we don't, and their attorney's not here tonight. It's a very, very specifically, narrowly, first read. So what do you think?
I'll just wait until next
Okay.
meeting. I didn't want to catch Amy before she was moving on to her next position, but I don't want to.
Well, if you don't think it will,
I'll probably be here on August 1st, even though that is my first day. I will probably be the one presenting the information. I will probably be
you
here.
feel like you can wait on that.
Yeah, it's probably more of a question for yourself.
You can always email me too. Yeah.
One more quick one. Are there any photos of your design?
They'll have that in the present, in the applicant's presentation. Yes, they'll have renderings of the building, clubhouse. They're also installing a public restroom facility along Commerce Parkway as well.
Where's the ice cream shop?
Your backyard, I heard.
Okay, thank you, Amy,
You're welcome.
and we'll have a public hearing on this on August, second reading, public hearing on August 1st.
Yes, sir.
Starting 6:30 p.m. All right, thank you, Amy,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay, let's keep moving. 14, we have Corey up first, I think. Anybody come up, say hello? Good evening,
Moving
Corey.
right along tonight.
Yes, sir.
We have first up written determination for disposal of personal property, being the skate park, the old skate park. Is this something I need to read out or?
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah.
Okay, good. Whereas Kentucky Revised Statute, KRS 82.083 states in pertinent part 1, a city may sell or otherwise dispose of any of its real property, real or personal property. Number 2, before selling or otherwise disposing of any real or personal property, the city. The city.
I told you, keep saying that, you always.
So watch my mouth right. The city shall make a written determination setting forth and fully describing A, the real or personal property. Put my glasses on here. B, its intended use at the time of acquisition.
C, the reasons why it is in the public interest to dispose of it, and D, the method of disposition to use. Therefore, the following written determination is hereby set forth and made. A, the city owns certain personal property, miscellaneous skate park equipment such as water pipes, mini ramps, ground rails, and tables. The city intended to use equipment for public recreation at the time of acquisition, and that intended use was fulfilled. C, it is in the public interest to dispose of this property. The cost of continued storage exceeds the value to the city. D, this equipment will be sold at public auction. This written determination is hereby adopted as true by the legislative body of the city of Grange, Kentucky. I can still read. Someone.
So what are we selling, the entire skateboard park?
I mean, we can, as a whole, yes, if we can really piecemeal it, sell out parts of it, piece by piece, as a whole. Some of it, if it doesn't go for right now, we can scrap it, or we've got a little bit of skate park everywhere. Some at Mundo Park, and a lot of it's at our shop, so.
No question. What does it cost of storage for it?
A lot to me, it's in my way. We are very impressed by actually, most of the skate park now shop is where the new salt dump's gonna go. And I had nowhere else to put it, unless the utilities. It's willing to get some space, but we're out of space in our shop, unfortunately. A lot of it's not even that shop. We have it sitting out in the open behind Mundo shop. So. This was something that we took to the Parks Committee. Is there any opportunity to use this, any of this equipment at the skate park, or is it we're gonna have all new equipment anyway, that's supplemental equipment, or? We talked about it, but I think they Hunger felt that the blend with the old equipment versus the new. A lot of it's in pretty bad shape, really. Anybody's free to come out and look at it. The mini ramp is probably the most wanted piece. I've had a few people that have called wanting to purchase. Outside of that, we had Will run a lot of it.
That's the question I'm about, if you back the mini ramp out of it, say that's not part of the deal, would we get any bidders at all?
I feel like you would, sure.
The only piece I thought
You
we
could put
might
it on.
incorporate into another piece of a park somewhere would be that beginning thing they had over here. And if you took that, you had a landing place, just came down, but I don't know if I skateboard, whether that be.
Yeah, that was probably the most used piece up there was the mini ramp. We still had it. It's back behind the other building, so.
So Corey's asking for the whole thing to be actually surplus and sold to the highest bidder. I guess we take sealed bids after people had ample time to see it all, and someone show it all to them, then they would put in a sealed bid and present it to us, and then we'll open it to city council meeting.
Either by sealed bid or public auction.
Well, it's
Just
a sealed
do
bid,
it.
just sealed bid. I think trying to get people to it, whatever, I don't care what the council chooses, whatever they want to do, but
Right.
we advertised it. You say there is interest out there. I don't know what I would guess to say whether they even offer for what's there. But I bet they offer something like $100.
It's hard to say, right? And you don't have to sell it.
Little Jimbo
That's what I'm
might buy, he might buy and use it for scrap.
Yeah.
He might go scrap prices, he might be able to give $1,000.
That's the benefit to the public auction. You can put a reserve on it. You say it doesn't
Well,
bring
we
a
put
$4,000.
a reserve on it, still bid. We just say, we got a reserve on it, if you make a reserve, we'll sell it to you. And our reserve is $3,000.
Right.
Our reserve is $10,000. So,
You want to put a reserve on it now?
but then what the council wants to do.
Or keep it, got a place to store it, but I'm
I'm out of room at our
So
facility.
determined that it has no value to the city, so you could say that you could make it by a sealed bid with reserve. That reserve to be determined.
Well, I'm saying there's a piece of it that could be valued to the city. And that being put down Wilbur Park, clean it up, spray it, and that one piece that they're talking about could be something for kids in Wilbur Park to have some fun with, right or wrong,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know? So that, the rest of it, I'm afraid to take a piece or two out of it, oh, it's gonna sell for scrap, period.
Some of them are standalone pieces, like the quarter pipe doesn't require any concrete or anything around. You just go back and forth like that.
Yeah, but once you come down that quarter pipe, that's what you call it, you just take it off and go straight out through there and then come back to it.
Well, you're stopping in the middle and walk on. It's like a ball that goes back and forth.
Oh, you come with that.
That's a quarter pipe.
We did talk in committee about, either, doing the auction, the public auction, did a couple different ways where you could sell each individual piece and then have a total sum of all pieces. And whichever bid is the highest. That was just another option we talked about in committee.
You know where each the individual pieces fall, how do you know what people choose for each individual piece?
I mean, when you auction it off, you just, this piece is going by itself, you can divide it out and what you want.
Yeah, but I thought you said there are different places.
Yeah, we have to get it all in one place. So we kind of, my point is, if we're not gonna use it in the future, it needs to get, we need to get it out of the way. But anything we intend to use, we can keep in store, especially like 7 mini ramp.
What came out Parks Committee? Where's your recommendation, Trey? Parks Committee?
We did vote to, in committee, I'm not trying to overstep Joe. Okay. We did vote in committee to surplus this, right before council, so that's why we're talking about it now. As far as determining a means or method, I don't think we totally agreed on that, we just threw out some options.
Right.
I didn't write down in the record that we voted on means of disposal.
But we did reach surplus.
I feel like public auction would bring more money, but personally.
Okay, someone, make a motion, say something.
$7 one piece of cover out
You can divide it up.
there.
You can, yeah.
I know they were texting me when we tore it down. I mean, I think it's one. Everything else on it. $3,000.
The mini ramp or whatever. The mini ramp, I believe.
Yeah.
They will, yeah.
$3,000.
Do we need to move forward or not move forward in the form of a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, as presented, the written determination of disposal of personal property being the skate park, and sold in the form of, public auction.
Motion been made to Trey Cameron, second by David Pollard. Any discussion on the motion? This time? Any discussion on the motion? This time, we have a motion to sell the components at public auction. We have a motion and second, give me the opportunity to discuss. Okay. No further discussion? All in favor of the motion to dispose of it, let you know I'm saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? One opposition. Corey, what else you have, sir?
I know there was a question, we talked briefly at the last meeting about, there was a question about the bridge decking on the overpass ramps at 53. I did speak to Tony Harris, State Highway, and he mauled around and thought that he
as of right now, they don't even have, they don't have it in a 6-year plan to do anything to them other than patch it and as people complain, unfortunately. But, no, they've got the bridge at Top Point, said it's really bad, they're focusing on initially, but they don't even have it in a 6-year road plan. So that could probably maybe put a little pressure on that bullet, maybe a little political pressure. But as of right now, that's their intent, is to
I'll
fill potholes and
talk to somebody about it.
also that we had a water line replacement at Wilburn Park. It's from a pretty nasty leak, and we ended up boring it from the meter all the way to the restroom facility, so we didn't have to take the trees out, got going to 3 roads. We still have to hook it in, but it's pretty well done, patch the concrete bank. We will be starting on the next phase of Cedar Street this week. So we'll start going down and poking around and shooting elevations that way. Try to get it in before fall paving. Keep it moving. Hi. Anybody has any questions, feel free.
One thing I would add is, report fee. I believe we put $100,000 into the city budget for brand new sidewalks. Say brand new, that means brand new. So I'd like for, road.
Everybody's.
What pieces that we can hopefully fit into that appropriation. So we go ahead and either figure out how to get them done and get started, or see when you can do them. Maybe you can do it next week. So anyway, I would like to get that rocking. Somebody asked me the other day, Mayor, could we get a sidewalk from Tucky Avenue down Gator to the library?
Right.
So, it's not a bad suggestion. You never think about where people actually do walk until you think about it, they ask you something like that. So, and then from Tucky Avenue, they could break it from Jimmy Hall's house all the way to, I would say, to, what's that road, Pepper Lane? Because I think Billy Delta is moving closer to starting those homes there behind Joe, I believe. Probably coming from Pepper into the city, probably a good piece of sidewalk, maybe think that into this plan too, this brand.
Right. I agree.
Anyway, yes, ma'am.
Come to me with have we not been able to make the entrances of the storefronts on Main Street and other places here in the city handicap accessible for people with wheelchairs? And I said I would say something about it. In other words, it would have to be like you have your step, almost everybody's got a step up there. A few that don't have a step up, not looking up on Main Street, they're just level with and you walk right in. The other ones have got one step up. That could be done by putting something on either side of the step and leaving the step in the middle. In other words, it could be designed to do that if we so desired that. And they were saying that they thought it was necessary because of all the new people we've got coming in from out of town, et cetera, et cetera. And it does limit them to being able to get in and out of stores. And I have seen them struggling to get people in the stores up the steps.
I think Bill has
Wouldn't that be up to the property owner, library, accessibility, not the city?
I don't know that it might be, it might not, we just need to look at it. This person was just saying, we need to look at it because of the fact that we don't have, and what can be done. There was no demand to do it. There was just a question of why can't we invent, and I thought about it, wrap the 2 pieces could be triangles on either side of the steps.
Would not that be on city property?
Those ramps?
You're talking about?
Yeah, that's
Well,
what
the sidewalks are lining up now, but
it would only take a small amount like this. A triangle that would fit into the step.
I think it'd be a lot more than that.
it might be, and that's what I'm saying, it needs to be investigated, not just done. I think it's something for us to think about.
When they have to comply with ADA,
Right.
can't just go there for, well, I mean,
I know that.
ADA is not gonna be just as strong, you know.
Yes, sir.
There's gotta be a certain.
Certain degree.
The tobacco plant is 1 inch, it's 12 inches to every inch rise. So if you got a 6 inch step, you got to plant 6 feet. That's the 5 foot wide. So, I mean, it's, you'll never be able to do it. So,
That's right, you wouldn't, there'd be some of us maybe that you could.
I will say I've experienced this issue from both sides. As a business property owner, I invested about $5,000, about, I don't know, 8 years ago to build a whole ramp that had to wrap around my property completely to get the proper rise.
Right.
And that was all on me as a property owner, and it made me super happy the first time I got someone in there who could be, who could get in there and make sure that always wanted to come in there. So from the property owner, business owner perspective, I would encourage people that it is really a good thing. As someone also, I spent 6 months in a wheelchair, back in 2006. I broke my leg, couldn't get around, we went to downtown Chicago. And I had, my people that I was with carry me down flights of steps in a wheelchair. It's terrifying, but it was done. We made it work. So it's kind of, there are places I've been that until you have that experience being in a wheelchair, you don't realize just how much of the world is not accessible to you. So,
And this is what she said she doesn't think people are aware of the problems that come with that unless you've been in that situation. So that we might just take a look at it, I mean, why, sort of line out something, you might be able to tell me about in some cases and maybe not all.
my only caution is on the city side is that if you, started offering that kind of service to everybody on the city property, then you're gonna have to open it up to the entire tax base.
I don't think so, I think you can specify, certain instances that it should be done, more readily than in others. Maybe. But you look at it, we don't need to be blind about things, just because it doesn't affect us. Yeah.
I do have a question for you, Cory. It was based on a comment that I got from someone about the splash park. And I don't know that anything could or should be done about it, but somebody was complaining about the rocks on the splash pad being very slippery, and they were concerned about children falling and hurting themselves. And if there was anything that we could do about the slipperiness of that, or had we considered what would happen if somebody did injure?
I definitely did consider that. I've voiced my opinion about it, but it was part of the design. There, when we took some of the rocks out, because they were way too close to the spray beds. It's always consideration for liability for the city for sure. Is there anything to be done to them? I don't know, maybe. Maybe.
And so that's the concrete.
Yeah.
Which is, and then the concrete, that makes it a little coarser, it doesn't, make it rough.
You're talking about the splash pad surface itself, or you're talking about those rocks?
The rocks.
Those rocks.
The kids were kind of standing, I don't know if they're meant to be stood on, but.
They're supposed to be playable.
Kids are
Yeah.
kids.
Sure.
This person
They're probably okay now, but in
This person
time,
suggested some sort of like moss or something, very like organic looking that would, I told her I would pass it along and that would discuss it.
we'll look into it.
I think as we progress, we should encourage suggestions from people about things that we don't think about.
I would suggest that those suggestions go to the park committee, be vetted, and then brought to council.
Does that work? Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Lori. Okay, Chief Gillette. Come on up, sir. Please.
It's 1:40 in the morning, I have to go downstairs. I got my tablet, and my cell phone, and I texted you, thank you, you all. And my phone started ringing, oh my God.
You didn't wake me up.
Okay, Greg. How are you doing?
All right, there you are. Good evening. Start with the June CAD totals, which would be our dispatch police responses, and for our incidents our officers called out on for the month of June, 483 call outs or dispatches. With the number one moving up is traffic enforcement or traffic stops. Call by phone request was about 46. And non-injury accidents and accidents in particular are picking up this month. And non-injury is about the third highest of 22. We're starting to see a considerable amount of accidents on First Street, probably compounded by the congestion and attention and distraction at the intersections as well. And the remainders are requests to meet subjects and check the welfare. This morning, the public should know, and you all should know, on July 16th, Old County Day. We had our last meeting for preparation this morning with Project Guild and our partner law enforcement agencies. The parade will follow the same route as it did last year, east on Jefferson Street, with a starting point different. The North Old Woolly Fields can be obligated to a tournament, so Allen Lane at the Covenant Baptist Church will be the staging area for the parade, with some other staggered spots along East Jefferson for the walkers, so it's not so far. But they'll continue east on Jefferson and the south turn on First Street, with the technical end of parade activities on First at Adams, but we will continue to assist the parade units and people down to the southeast Christian parking lot for a pickup. State Highway has agreed to get us the message board. In the last couple of years, they haven't been available to put out on East Jefferson and First Street to warn motorists and the public that the 16th will be very congested and alternate routes will be in play. Everything else, coming along as we get the new budget, we do have a small disaster going into our building, so we are thankful for the building maintenance fund. We have a coolant line backed up today, and we found our second story, and it is water soaked the first floor utility room and leaked into the lower room with some ceiling damage that the heating air has been out looking at it. We're gonna have to give it some time to dry out to figure out a course of action. So the building maintenance line item is gonna be used very quickly this month. If you have any other questions or concerns, I'll be glad to hear.
How's our staffing, Greg? I think we tried to get it up to where we're supposed to be at this time. They gave us more police presence at the evening hours throughout, or how's that work?
Yes, sir. With the rotating off days, we do have some heavier days than others, and those days would vary because the guys have different off days to give them an opportunity to enjoy each different day of the week. But there'll be some heavy days and lighter days. We are up to 16 sworn personnel to include our school resource officer, who of course is off during the summer unless we utilize them under city funds. We do have one officer on leave right now. Time length is undetermined. We do have a change in our staffing level. Previously, the police department did operate with 2 detectives, but when we suffered our shortage, we knocked that down to 1. Officer Marcus Wayne has transferred out of uniform into our criminal investigation division to bolster that. Over the last couple of years, because of that shortage, we've had to rely on the county investigative team to assist us when we've had significant incidents of fire investigation or more crime scene work. So Officer Wayne will be learning that position. He's already well in place and has some knowledge, but if you don't notice him on the street and patrolling in the future, that is why. So that will pull down our first shift coverage a little bit, but the major and I are out, and with the 2 contract officers that are lucky enough to be on first shift, hopefully we won't see too much of a diminished presence.
Appreciate your all's presence Friday night, Saturday as well in uniform and around the pavilion area. Had some persons thank the city for having police there, with all the crazy stuff
Sure.
going on. They just feel much better. We have a police presence and
It's good for us
y'all
to,
in uniforms. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
we enjoy doing something a little different and meeting people that we haven't had an opportunity to meet.
Okay, Greg, is that it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Stephanie Winter, she's, still, her eyes are still open on her long trip back from Hawaii. So,
Haven't gotten that.
Got jet lag.
Change it.
so,
So, we've got, last month, we didn't give any numbers for anything, so we combined them for those months, to have 2 months of numbers for May and June. We issued 113 notice of violations, most of those this time of year for tall grass. Second in that is the rubbish and the trash that people have in their yards. Apparently, people have been cleaning out their houses and they just throw it out in the yard. And then a bunch of the miscellaneous things, a lot more people are getting chickens without permits, broken down vehicles in their driveways, pools with no fences, that typical kind of stuff. We have a couple big projects that have been going on. 306 East Washington, which is Don Williams' house on East Washington, has been sold. The people that bought that are the people that bought the Thelma Smith house at 202 Birch. So their plan is to jack it up, put a new foundation underneath it, and rehab the complete house and turn around and sell it. So you get a chance, you might want to start driving by there so you can see some of the progress going on. 205 East Washington, that's the blue house on East Washington that Mary Beth Vincent lived in. It has also been purchased by a new owner, and they are working on fixing it up and doing some nice things to it to bring it back to its glory. And then another one on East Washington, 517 East Washington, it's been sitting there with tarps on the roof for several years, and the bank is finally moving forward with getting that foreclosed on and getting that up for auction, so hopefully that'll be sold soon. 117 Anchor, which we've dealt with for several years and we're getting very close to, was up for auction, and they pulled it off of the auction because they thought they had a private buyer, and that fell through. So we're pushing them to get that back on the foreclosure list so we can get that auctioned off. It's a really big eyesore, especially with 120 Anchor, with the Good News homes. If you've driven by the sixplex down there, you know what a huge difference. It looks so good down there. So those are the big building projects that we're working on. One thing I wanted to make everybody aware of is on Monday, July 18th at 8:30 a.m., the Grange Board of Adjustments and Appeals is going to be hearing an application regarding requesting a conditional use permit for an indoor climate controlled mini storage to be placed at 1440 Crystal Drive East. That's the property in front of the Quality Inn hotels next to Cracker Barrel. They're wanting to put in a mini storage. Typically in the county, you have about 3 acres, there's only 1.9 acres. So they're asking for a conditional use permit to put in a mini storage facility there. Just wanted you guys to be aware of that as new stuff is going on in the city. And the other good news is Ponderosa is on the block to be demolished. It was supposed to have been demolished 2 weeks ago. I drive by there every day waiting. So it is going to be demolished. They do have plans for that property. They're keeping it very, very hush hush. They won't even give me a hint. But there is supposed to be something good going in there. That's all I know. So Ponderosa is coming down. Finally. So that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
no, thank you for doing all you all do, you and Aaron. Glad you had a good vacation.
We did, had a really nice vacation. And we had some flooding going on for our air conditioner and our code enforcement office this weekend, so I don't know what's up with that, but we're working on getting that cleaned up and carpet cleaned and water sucked out.
Debbie actually told me she looked through the local paper here in Hawaii. They had an advertisement for a code enforcement officer. And she said, no way I'm gonna accept this, because I would like the Grange too much.
I do like Grange too much. And I have to learn to speak a couple languages over there, and I'm too old to learn a couple languages, so. I will admit it's cooler over there than it is here, so I miss the cooler temperatures, but I'm glad to be back home.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you very much. Okay, and last, recording tonight from Director Stephen Hall. If everyone knows Stephen.
Yes, good evening. Well, pretty short report. As you all know, Spring Spark opened up Friday and we had fireworks Saturday. It was really, honestly, Saturday night, I just kind of looked back, it was really just an incredible 2 days. The only mishap we had in 2 days was the speakers not working for the Star Spangled Banner, so.
You know what, it was great. Singing.
Yeah,
I still get goosebumps when I think that.
it was really incredible. All those people and really everything went as smooth as possible. But other than that, this last month, Amberside did put 3 charcoal grills in at Walsh Park. So those are ready to use. I did mow over there today and it doesn't look like they've been used yet. But they are ready to go.
It's been too hot, people just been cooking out on their hoods. You know, they just been roasting hot dogs on their hoods, some frying eggs, you know, and what else, charcoal.
You know, can you just answer, because I have had some questions about people saying, well, can we rent that pavilion? So what are the policies, or are there policies right now about that?
Right now, in Parks Committee, it's been discussed, $100 an hour to rent the pavilion. And it is $500 to reserve the splash pad and the pavilion. And what was the time frame we got on that? It was
3 hours.
3 hours, 3 hours for $500 for the splash pad and the pavilion.
And that's only on off nights, you know, you're not gonna do it on nights, you wanna take it on off night and be in consideration of Stephen and his policies as to, you know, but if you can, pieces of it are all can be rented.
I have gotten calls this month about the pavilion and the splash pad, all that stuff. I have, other than LaGrange Elementary and Buckner Elementary, I've told everyone, no, we're not renting it this month, just because of the popularity and the amount of people that are gonna be coming through there. So we'll see, as we know what days are really gonna be high traffic in August, we'll probably start that.
Now, we have committed to Grange Elementary, haven't we, in Butler?
Yes, yeah,
Butler?
those are the 2 that we
Back to
have
school,
committed.
back to school events.
Yes, but anyone that's normally calls to rent either Walsh or Wilburn that calls about that, I've been telling them not July.
Anybody have anything for Stephen? I just want
Good
to
job,
compliment Stephen. Compliment Stephen. He's worked very hard getting ready for the Spring Spark opening and then throughout the whole weekend.
It went well.
I told you all he could do all this by himself. Thank you, Stephen.
I will say, I'm hearing a lot of positive feedback about the parks, everything, all the activities, yoga, you know, all of that. So thanks to Stephen and the Parks Committee, that's going great.
Okay, let's see, let's keep moving here. Joe, leave your up first, sir.
All right, short and sweet. We had a meeting, June 8th here at City Hall. Eagle Creek was there with their clubhouse design. I think we kind of sent them back for another design. So that's, I guess that'll be coming back to the meeting.
See you later.
Thank you.
Of course, we discussed, all this has done happen. Discussed Spring Park opening, and Stephen, went over the rentals that we talked about in Buckner Elementary and Grange Elementary. Of course, Chrissy's been back, but she was at this meeting with the preliminary design of the swing park, so I'm sure that skate park, yeah. So she's been back since then, so, I think that, let's see, then after that meeting, we went into the road committee meeting that same night. We discussed, the intersection down to Main and Cedar where we've only got a three-way stop. This is, Corey was working on that. I don't know what he's come up with, try to do something. And the thing about it is the state on Cedar on down, but Corey told me he was set where they turn and that big dip or where it's at, he told me he's still trying to just go in there and take care of it. Go to the state and get that done. So, we discussed about Commerce Parkway, depends on what Kroger's gonna do and if we're gonna have to widen it or what we'll need to do for our end of Commerce Parkway. What else is, George? Debbie, take notes. Y'all do, y'all, what we got a good note. Y'all got anything to add that? Do next meeting?
Well, Kroger itself, doesn't have anything significant to do with Commerce Parkway, Joe. Where the discussion it came in at you all was the, from the city, being Button Lane and or Allen, coming back towards Grange.
Right.
It is the Commerce Parkway itself, it's always been discussed for years about where does it need to be widened, when's the widening plan, when's the paving plan. But I know what prompted this discussion was eventually if in fact this development were to be approved on Commerce, the developers have offered a amount of money to be put into a escrow account specifically for the purpose of widening, adding a turning lane, helping to do whatever would happen.
That's a question actually that we had on the ordinance committee.
Is that the question?
That, yeah, about the money that was supposed to be set aside in escrow account. You were just gonna ask it next month.
Yeah, but that came about at the planning commission, and then questions will become even the fact that it's approved district as to what would the need be, because they didn't know if it needed to be put into a study, into a turning lane, this, that, and other. So I think that was the part that y'all picked up with, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay,
we all been, Stephen and the mayor also always attend the last Wednesday of the month, the, Eagle Creek Board meeting.
Okay.
I guess the other committee, which I missed because I was on the road with Johnny Cash. I mean, Willie Nelson, not done, he was on the road again. So y'all had a meeting that night with Christie or public hearing?
Yes, it was, Christie Weeds appeared with, Unger, and he brought in the skateboarders, and we really had a great turnout. And she had all of the things laid out for different ones, and I think it was really,
Yes, I do. I think just they actually listen to the kids and.
Yeah, and we listened to them, and Tracy probably got some notes on that too, because I remember party.
Before that, Stephen talked about the basketball, clinic, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't know if it's gonna be here in July, or on the 19th.
Yeah, 19th, 21st, and 23rd.
Yeah, so we talked about that. So there's been some interest in the basketball, program here.
when is that, Stephen, sorry?
The 19th, 21st, and 22nd.
Okay.
Do we have anything out on Facebook or on our webpage yet about it?
About the basketball camp, it was open signups through the end of June. And we had 12 signups.
We did take some action on the swing set at Wilbur, to, postpone it a little bit until, an audit is completed. So, we took some action on that. We did talk about, Grange, or North Oldham Little League had, brought up a request about some, replacing the light poles and the lights. So we talked about inviting Brad, to come in and speak at next month's meeting. And, I guess we didn't really talk a whole lot about it, but I guess there's going to be a proposal about the house on, in Springs Park, brought to the park.
We're gonna talk about it later. We have to get, Bill, will be there. We decided what, after our vacation,
Yeah. Yeah, as far as, so that ended at 6:06, and then, to their point, I think we were there for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours with the skate party.
Right, 2 hours.
Yeah, I agree with what they both said. There's a lot of interest from skaters and from bikers. They gave a lot
There's
of.
even a gentleman older than, the kids that were here, that he said he lived in Centerfield, and he would be used it, he was all excited. In fact, I saw him at the opening
What did he say?
and maybe look at, just, we hadn't seen her. But he did say it. And I feel like we, as a committee, it helped us listening to them. I've never skated more than my son did. I want this, like that. So I think it went well. Y'all happy and.
I think they'll make some adjustments that'll
Yes.
bring it right into focus.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty Kristen,
Which is what we want.
she really wanted to try to make a point to talk to anybody that wanted to speak to her, so that's why it went even longer, was just to make sure everybody had a voice, if they wanted to say something. Mayor did a good job, introduction and get us kicked off.
We lost.
You lost. You lost. When is your next park committee?
Yes. when
13th. Park committee, 13th. It's always on the same week. It's 5 o'clock. Have we got is there any kind of signs up for the hours on the splash pad? Or what time to start? There was a lot of people asking, I think Larry got a call.
There is a sign that makes no sense. You think it opens at 8 and closes at 6, but that's.
I think that's Sarah and them put that on there just because that's what they do at Maple Park and Crestwood. Didn't even really ask what the hours gonna be, so. they
Yeah,
just
there's-
need to-
so
we need to
there's-
Address that.
At 9 o'clock in the morning, they were down there trying to beat on that, start that thing, and I finally told somebody, I said, it runs 10 to 6, the actual, is that correct?
It was 10 to 8.
Yeah,
10 to
10 to
8.
I mean, 10 days, I'm sorry.
Technically, there's 2 signs and the times on both of them are different for both. of them. The end time is right on one of them, but the start time's wrong, and the other side, they're both.
We need to get that posted, or else they're gonna beat it, that's what it's saying.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. So you'll be-
Okay, Trey and Parks Committee, where do you think we are on the full approval of the city council to approve the $350,000 initial appropriation that we had for the skateboard park? Do we feel like that's been approved by the council yet in its entirety, or is that still out there?
I know it's still pending.
Still pending, right? Until Christie comes back with a final design.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that. Where's the Parks Committee feel that we are with the Parks Committee itself in terms of Eagle Creek new design of the clubhouse?
I told the board that I was ready to move forward, but I understand there might be some other things that need to come up, we can discuss that.
So it's still, so Brandon and or anyone from, Eagle Creek still needs to possibly come back to Parks Committee another time, correct?
Exactly,
I think they should,
yes.
with they got the second design ready, right? I mean,
Well, what we saw out there, last week, that's what they call their final design. And what I heard was, what I heard or said, but that being said, I just want to know if the Parks Committee is satisfied yet. If they're not, then they need to come back. And then I was wanting Bill, one of them said they're gonna get in touch with Bill, landline, let him go over what his take was on the design at this point.
Grange did contact me, and I told him at this time, I really had more interest in seeing what they had. I was more worried about the money aspect, but after seeing what they got, there are some real problems with that plan. I mean, as simple as you have to have urinals in a men's bathroom in a public facility. They don't have any. Bedroom number 2 has no closet. You have to walk to a closet to go to the bathroom. It's crazy.
Okay,
They really need to have somebody look at that drawing that knows about commercial construction and look at that and make it right.
You think they would?
You would think so, but
Okay, that sounds like it's gotta get back to the Parks Committee.
Yeah, I
Sure,
would say so.
plus you're concerned about the kitchen, and plus his concern about the architectural plus the other thing you've added. And Bill, just to keep things simple, maybe you can attend that meeting and try to bring
I'm
those.
gonna be there on the 13th.
all right, that sounds like you're gonna contact Brandon.
Yeah, I'll contact you.
Have him come to me.
I'll contact
We'll have to get an agenda going, Stephen,
you. What time on the 13th should Brandon be here? For somebody to meet with her.
Well, we've got,
9 o'clock?
we've got, Jay, what's her name, they got Hollywood, whatever that shop is, they got,
HHC Apothecary.
apothecary. They want to come and see, they talking about wanting to do a outdoor yoga. She wanted to see if might be a time to do it in the park or something, so.
But the meeting starts at 5 o'clock, right?
Meeting starts at 5, so we'll probably get to whoever we've got. Let them, it won't take them no time to make their presentation. I'm sure, so we get them on the agenda first. And then, I guess, say, you say something.
I think we probably should touch base with Christine and just see if she was gonna have something ready by then. Kind of ended that meeting with her, just taking the feedback, but, she's got it.
I shot her an email today
Yeah.
and just asking, I'm trying to push her on some construction plans, some Gantt charts on timetables. And I think Joe was on that email.
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
I'll send
making
you
sure
trail.
that we still working with Jim Tillman, with the, county engineer, and we still got to get with, I guess, is, Rich working with that part on the,
Cushion food system, usually.
Kirsten, it's called Rest now, I think, to work with, the stream down there, and then her question too, she was concerned about if the rain utilities or that tree, that question came up tonight, because that was one of the Christian's concerns in her email was if they were gonna get to each other's way, so.
This Brad coming? When's that?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. I haven't contacted him yet, but if it works with, I know he's trying, they're doing the, I guess, regional tournament now and then getting prepared for the state one. So I don't know if it'll work, but I'll reach out to him and just confirm and let him know. Sure.
Joe, how can I be there if you want to get on Zoom?
I would imagine it's like, Eagle Creek's gonna take a big part of the night.
sir.
Okay, so the budget committee met on the 15th. Some of these items have kind of already been touched on, but we had a nice presentation from Evolve, Kentucky, about charging stations for electric vehicles around town. We met, his name was Stuart Unger, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's a charging electric vehicle enthusiast. He talked about letting people drive their vehicles just to kind of get exposed to them. Anyway, it was a really good presentation. Good recommendation by Bill to have him talk to tourism, see if that could be something to fit in there. So, he gave us his card and, like I said, he had a nice presentation there. We already talked about the poles and lights at North Fulton Little League. There were a couple of items that we need to take some action or no action on for ARPA funds. So the first one was, and this was talked about in Park Committee as well, the need for an additional mower or a new mower is dedicated for Stevens purposes of cutting all the grass. So what we did, we got a couple of bids, brought up, like I said, 2 parts into Finance Committee. We recommended from ARPA funds to take up to $15,000 for the purchase of a SCAD mower from the ARPA funds. We did vote in committee, it was 3-0 to bring to full council for consideration. So that was item 1 as far as ARPA fund vote. Do we need, I guess, take a vote?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I guess as chair, I'll make a recommendation to go up to $15,000 the ARPA funds for the purchase of a new mower.
You had made that a motion. Who seconded it?
I'll second it if he makes it.
Yes.
Second by Leslie. We have a motion, a second. Any discussion on the motion for the council?
Repeat the motion, please.
Up to,
I can't understand it.
Is to extend up to $15,000 for a SCAG lawnmower, brand new. Up to $15,000 not to exceed. That's the motion. Right, correct?
correct. I'll remind that just 3-0 votes.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. No further discussion. All in favor of the motion, let me know, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
About the cameras too. I forgot about that. We had a discussion on cameras too.
We did, in Park Committee, we didn't talk about them in Budget Committee.
Yeah, that's what I'm very fine.
Yeah, so we could certainly talk about that in next week's meeting. Okay, the other item that we would like to bring to full council for consideration, so we had the chief come and speak to us about I'll call it law enforcement equipment and safety items for our officers and then also for our SRO in the Grange Elementary. I don't know if you need to elaborate, but we certainly take some questions. But from committee, for items for our police department, just to, I guess, be able to respond if needed for situations. If you want to elaborate a little bit, maybe I'll.
Sure. The topic evolved from Councilmember Langline that asked our readiness level for active shooter situations or high incidents of violence, with high caliber weapons. My explanation of that is we have some equipment. A lot of it is reutilized military equipment, and some of our patrol rifle platforms are probably from seventies. We do have a couple of department-owned ones, but a lot of the more modern or advanced are probably personally owned by the officer. When we get into the rifle platforms, as far as our ballistic protection, it is lacking for the calibers you're seeing in some of the national incidents. Of course, I don't want to go into a lot of our capabilities or into our weaknesses. But in response to his question, I answered it honestly. Of course, it does involve considerable expense, but the question is for us to be ready and have the equipment at hand for the officers to be the most effective in public safety. The equipment is expensive, especially nowadays. A lot of it is heading internationally. Of course, we will do the best to get the best equipment we can for what's available and the money there. But that's what it is geared for, ballistic protection, and to give the officers the ability to act when they need to act, and enhance our own ballistic capabilities as well, if that answers the concerns, the questions.
I have a question. So it's an Oldham County school, and I actually bring up elementary here, obviously in the city of LaGrange. You know, we take care of the SRO and whatnot. In terms of anything like that, do you and the county look at any type of protection or additional things above and beyond just the SRO? Do you and the county kind of get together and, you know, go 50-50 or?
I am waiting from a list from the operations major of the county police for what their spec equipment may be, because ideally, just like our most recent sidearm purchase, our magazines match the county police and the sheriff's office should there be an incident of large scale that we need to interchange magazines and all that. We're not trying to be like the county police, but it only makes sense to have compatible equipment should you have a large scale event. My goal is once they give me, they've gone through some tactical team changes and leadership there, is to get their ballistic specs and either match or have a very compatible piece of equipment. So we're all the same threat level and protection level, or have like equipment should it have to be interchanged between agencies or personnel on a scene.
I was also talking like financial.
Well, and
wise, I mean, you know.
when it comes to the SRO, when you mention school, the agreement is the school board covers the salary, the department equips the officer, and basically, and just like the school board, we don't want the school board picking or choosing police equipment.
Absolutely.
It's equipment and officer.
Okay,
So, after that discussion, for the law enforcement equipment and safety items, we did come up with an amount. This would also come from ARPA funds. The amount would be up to $37,000. We did take a vote and it passed committee 3-0 for your consideration. So I guess in the form of a motion, I'd like to make the motion that we take from the ARPA funds up to $37,000 for the purchase of law enforcement equipment and safety items.
I'll second that.
This isn't just for use in schools, this can be used obviously anywhere.
This would be equipped every sworn police officer, regardless of the thing to remember. We are next to the interstate system, have a large scale employer, hotels, so, you know, multiple scenarios can play out where this equipment could prove valuable.
but what you're saying now is, you're going to say, at this time, we're not ready to deal with this type of situation, this taking time.
Well, I'm not gonna-
With what equipment, other persons who have.
The officers would be expected to act with the equipment that they have, that we would be affording them more protection and maybe a more effective response is how I would phrase that. This would not, an officer's gonna have to deal with the threat regardless of what he has. But we're looking at protecting our officer investment in public safety. Fairmont as well, but that.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second. We have a motion, a second to spend not to exceed 37,000 for this particular use, come from ARPA money. Any further discussion on that? Not all those in favor of the motion, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you, Trey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
There were some other items that I think are still kind of pending discussion. I'm not gonna go over those in the interest of time. We typically follow park committee, as far as our meeting goes, so that'll also be on the 13th. I would say tentatively, the starting time would be 6:30, depending how long, the park committee goes, so. If we need to start a little sooner, we can, but, we'll look for that time. That's all I have.
True, you know, we have the city budget come forward to ask for acquisition of ARPA money.
I did receive an email, I think on Saturday, for it. It didn't have any specific items, and I haven't had a chance to respond to it. Yes, we do.
Yeah, and I'm aware of what that was. I'm sorry, I had forgotten that had it. I'm aware of it.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, Trey, no further information budget.
No, thank you.
All right, Jason Taylor, he's an ordinance review committee.
Sure. Yes, sir. Thanks, Mayor. Will be a very long report. We have one meeting in June 16th. We're continuing the discussion of murals and issues that we talked about previously. That's going to extend on a little bit further. We're going to be this coming Monday, July 11th at 6:30. We have previously discussed, one that's still okay with the budget committee. Also, we discussed briefly that ordinance 9-2022 about the committee meetings, as we discussed everything today. But actually, that'll happen, so Monday, July 11th, 6:30. Stop by.
All right. Good. We have one more public comment down there, if anybody wants to speak publicly. And we have, any new business to bring before the city council tonight?
Yeah, John, I'd just like to apologize to everyone for not being at the grand opening of the park this past week, but I had something a little more pressing that I felt like was very important. And just to bring everybody up to date, Tom Clinton is not doing well. We may have a couple months left on the earth, so everybody's head off there to be in the stand.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, sitting here on the, Friday, I've been there, but I was actually out of the country on vacation. But,
Okay, anyone else want to talk about any new business reference to the city? Anybody want to talk about any unfinished business that's on your mind, that you'd like to get an answer to it, or push forward, or anything like that? I shoot Bill, landline, I know you were on some form of committee looking to do something at the entrance point of the Grange at I-7153. If y'all had any more discussions on that?
There's been no more discussion. We were waiting for the artist to bring forth some ideas. Now that it's started construction, I don't think that's going to happen soon. Maybe they kind of get out of the way. I think it's all hold right now.
I want to mention to you all on your finance report tonight and your bills you paid. Might have noticed it, maybe you didn't, but there's a $40,000 appropriation to Main Street. That's 40,000 that they had about 41 something change left, but Heather came in here, 2, 3, 4 days short of July 1st with a long list of items that she was asking us to consider to purchase, and I looked at it and, I just hesitated to do it. So what I did do, we had a meeting at the Main Street Board one day last week, and I made a decision instead of hastily just expending money, just to be spending it and buying things at this time. I felt it was, better to use time and due diligence to let her present to the Main Street Board, which now, starting July 1st, they will have the entire time to spend as Heather and the Alley Loop people request money to be spent. So what they basically received in this fiscal year was $40,000 of unspent money that was appropriated by this council. So I went and met with 3 or 4 members of the Main Street Board, along with Heather and Teresa, and told them what I decided to do. So they now have that in their treasury. And as Heather and the Alley Loop group ask for release of monies, they will talk to the Main Street Board about that. Not only do they have that, they also have a new $30,000 that the city council agreed to place into the Alley Loop effort. And both these appropriations are specifically for Alley Loop, wherever Alley Loop may be. So I just want y'all to understand that. I want to thank Christian with Old Amira. Very thankful that you cover stories like you do for us, Christian. You always stay here as long as it takes, and I know you spent a lot of time at Springs Park, and I always want to thank you for the time you spend here with us and things like that. I don't know about you all, but I just, maybe there's things we can be doing better in our city. We're always open for suggestions, but it seems like to me we have a pretty good deal going on here with all we are doing and all we will do. So I don't know how we could be doing it much better, but I want to thank each of you all for our working relationship and everything we try to do. I know people talk about these committees, but I think through the committee formation, a lot of things are discussed in committee, and it's much easier to get them brought to the council, having been discussed in the committee versus me presenting them and trying to expect passage. I think the committees are able to hash a lot of things out that the council knows they have been discussed in thoroughness and entirety, which I think that's a good way to go. So otherwise, other than that, it's, what time is it? I got 8:44, I didn't know it was that late, but if no one else wants to bring anything else up tonight, then let's go make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Debbie, and second by Leslie. Right. And as Bill Landline said, please don't forget Tom Clemens.
So you might touch base about it.
People have been buzzing about that. That's why I have full
Can't do this meeting.
Especially this, you don't hear out too much heavy lifting. Well, we're in a new place. We would say it's hot.